All right. Hello, everybody. Perhaps you can see me. I think we are now live. Um, we'll stick around for a little bit and see if some people start popping up. There we go. All right. I can see people in the chat, so this thing is actually working. I'm trying something new. It's this software called OBS, and it allows me to do this kind of neat setup with some pictures and stuff. There you are. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. It's so good to have you all here. I'm excited to be doing this again. Second live stream ever. Already have a lot of questions. All right. And I am excited to answer your questions. If you could, don't ask any questions yet. I have a few things I want to get through, and then we're going to get to a Q&A kind of section. So if you're asking any questions now, I'm probably going to miss them. All right. Okay, I love it. So let's get started. First thing, of course, I want to do is thank you so much to my patrons. First off, Peter Yim and Noah Garza, they're in my Slade gang, which is my top tier. Huge thanks to both of you. Really appreciate it. And thanks as well to Benton and Pan the Red. They're in my Joe tier, which is the next highest. And I appreciate your support so much. And if anybody's interested in joining Patreon, you can find, I don't have the link in the description, but I'll put it in after the stream. And you can look at that. I got some cool additional content on there for those interested. All right, so thank you. Second thing, I am doing there's some changes kind of coming to my channel. I'm going to merge my personal channel with a brand channel, and it's all me. I just created a brand channel called Twisted Brick. You may have noticed the kind of avatar change, and it's going to be my new logo. And the unfortunate thing that happens when I swap over is that I'm going to lose all the comments on previous videos. So all those comment sections are going to have to get repopulated. At least that's my understanding. But all the likes and all the views, that should transfer over, all the subscribers. So the big reason I'm doing that is because I use my personal email, my personal Google account for this YouTube account. And so if I changed my YouTube name to Twisted Brick, which I would like to do, then when people wanted to send me personal emails, they'd be sending them to Twisted Brick. And that just doesn't, it's just not what I want to be doing. So that is the plan. All right. And that is that kind of announcement. So expect a bit of a change happening soon, and you might see some comments disappearing. Next thing, we're moving right along. I am excited to announce that I kind of partnered with Brickforge. If you haven't checked out Brickforge's stuff, they have some really cool products, and I use several of them in my videos. I've got some pictures here for you. Hopefully you can see that. They've got like medieval stuff like centaurs. They've got all sorts of random stuff though. They've got these custom guitars, this Wolverine looking thing. If you're into Halo, I don't think they use the term Halo, they're just the chief, but it's the powered assault armor if you want to do that. But they've got a ton of stuff, and it really is nice because it ranges from medieval to modern, and I really like their products. So in the description, I have a link that you can use, and as my viewers, you guys get a discount on their products. And you can either use that link that I have included, or you can just use the coupon code Christian Stensely, no capitals and all one word upon checkout. So kind of fun for you, fun for me. All right. Elliot says the name Twisted Brick sounds cool. I appreciate that. I've been trying to think of some kind of like brand or logo or something more than just my name, Christian Stensely, because it's kind of hard to pronounce and to spell. And I've wondered if that has made me less memorable when people are scrolling through YouTube. Maybe not, but it's kind of fun to develop a logo. All right, I'm getting to your questions soon. The next thing I want to share, with the logo thing though, I actually put together a little intro video. So I'm gonna play that and I'm gonna show it to you guys, and let's see if it works. This is kind of a new feature with this software, but here it is. right. So it was kind of fun to make. It's very simple, but something kind of cool. Spybrick World is asking multiple times, do you like Ninjago? I actually never, I don't think I think I bought one Ninjago set, and I honestly think it's a super cool theme. Unfortunately, I haven't had much time or money to like explore it because I'm so focused on the Lego Zombie Apocalypse, but I want to explore that more in the future. So moving on. Well, one more video I want to show you guys. This is just kind of a token of appreciation and something maybe to keep you excited for this next episode, which, as you can see, is premiering November 30th. I would have liked to have it out sooner, but it's long. It ended up being a lot longer than I thought. You know, most of my episodes are somewhere around 8 minutes, and this one is going to be somewhere around 13 minutes. It's packed with action. The whole thing almost is action, fighting, violence, so it's a fun one, and there are some pretty big plot twists and changes, but here's just a tiny little teaser for you to get a taste of what it's looking like.
It's like fighting the damn ocean!
Alright, so not to toot my own horn here, but I think this episode is one of the best. It's got some of the best animation I've done, the best coloring, and some really cool special effects. So I think you'll like it. And there was no music in that. My little brother Johan, you know, he's my composer, and he's still working on the soundtrack. So that's kind of what'll take a little bit longer, because typically I wait until I've made the whole video, and then I send it to him, and I'm like, hey, you know, make something here, and I give him some suggestions, but then he can craft the soundtrack to match the video perfectly. Kind of a fun look into the process for you. All right, so now we're gonna do some Q&A. I'm gonna answer your questions, but before I do that, I gave my patrons the opportunity to ask questions earlier, and I'm gonna address their questions right now. So one of my fans, and he's been around for a while now, Sullivan Studios, he asked, how many more episodes is in season 2? And the way it's looking now, and the way I've written the scripts, episode 8 is the second to last. So there's going to be one more after this one. So that's a total of 9 episodes. And all together, the entire season is going to end up being somewhere around an hour and 20 minutes. And I'll upload it as a full movie not too long after I release episode 9. But I will wrap things up, and maybe I can answer more questions about the next season after this one, which is certainly coming, but it's going to be looking a little different. So that is that answer. My patron Cameron Pringle, and he's Salty Pringle Chip Productions, and I think he's a moderator on this stream, at least he should be. He asked, how many more seasons will there be? And that's a really good question. I've been asked that a few times. It's a good question, and the truth is, I've said this before, I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. I have a 3rd season planned. I mean, the script it's being reworked, and it is extensive. I put a ton of thought into the story, and it's kind of revamping the story, the entire universe in a way. And then I have basically the whole idea for season 4 planned, which is just like a sequel movie almost to season 3. And then I have another one after that. So I have 3 additional seasons worth of material formulating in my head after this one. And I am fully determined to make all of those happen. So I hope you all stick around to see them, because it's going to go to some pretty wild places. But that is my current plan. Last patron question before I get to yours. Let's see, Dragon Man Stop Motions. He says, how many seasons do you think you'll do? And like I said, infinite. Any spin-offs? Well, actually, I have one of my fans I've been in contact with, Sonny is his name, and he's a big fan of writing, and he has actually put together this really cool prequel idea for Slade, this kind of backstory for, well, who was Slade before the zombie apocalypse struck, and what is the role he plays in all this. And I would love to do that sometime, to tell the story of Slade, because he's a very mysterious character. You don't know a lot about his background, but he seems to have this special set of skills. So that's a spin-off I would like to do. However, Dragon Man Stop Motions also asks, is the Russ scene at the end of Season 1 going to be an open ending to his character, as in we won't ever see him again? I love Russ. I said it before, Russ is one of my favorite characters, and we will see him again. Oh yes. For those of you who forgot the last scene with Russ, and what the kind of open ending he's referring to was, I actually have it here for you, and I will play it real quick. So that was where we left off with Russ. He's reunited with his wife in the desolate ruins of the Lego Zombie Apocalypse, which is kind of happy but also still kind of bleak. But there will be more to his story, and it might not be a technical part of Season 3. It might be more like a in-between special feature clip, but there will be something. All right, now I'm excited to answer your questions. And I saw a few questions just in the stream. I probably missed a ton, so you're going to have to ask them again. But I saw some that piqued my curiosity. How not to be racist, none. That is a interesting username. Said, where's Death Cube, my boy? Death Cube was an experiment, kind of. For a while, Kylie, my girlfriend, and I, we lived in a pretty small one-bedroom apartment that had no real room for animation, so I was animating out of a closet because I wanted to just work on my skills. So that was what Death Cube was, and it didn't get a lot of steam, didn't seem to attract a lot of attention, so I was like, well, probably just let that one be. But it was a good experience and fun practice for me. Spybrick says, the best thing about your videos except for the story is the use of plasticine. I really appreciate that. I do love using clay. As a kid, I loved claymation, and of course I loved Lego, so I started, it's kind of funny because I started with these old Lego versus clay videos, it was very basic, short animations, but what's becoming the Twisted Brick universe, the story of Gerald and Krozox and the fungus, it's basically a deep dive into Lego versus clay, which is kind of funny, but I think it works. Let's see. How long does it take you to make a single episode? It's a common question and a good one. Dozens and dozens of hours. I would say it's probably several hundred hours. I put a lot of time into it, and I don't track it. I really should. It'd be an interesting experiment. But it takes me, a solid month to make an episode. And that's when I'm working hard. If I'm not working hard, it could take a lot longer. Is someone going to die in episode 8? I will plead the fifth on that one, and I'll keep you in suspense. Let's see. Somebody asked, I can't see where it is now, but somebody asked if I like the Exoforce line. And sorry if I can't remember your name. I love Exoforce. It might be one of my favorite themes of all time. And I love anime too. So it was like Lego plus anime. It's just a dream come true. That was so fun. All right, I got 2 questions here that I can kind of combine. Zalgo asks, what is the 3rd season about? Jim Hubert says, do you think you will make new characters? So the third season, and I don't feel bad giving this away, but it takes place, we went to the past with the second season. The third season takes place in kind of the far future. It's going to, but it's going to be deeply connected to the earlier series. It might not be obvious at first because, there are some, I don't want to give away any spoilers here, but for the most part, it's going to seem like an entirely new line of characters. And I'm very excited to do that because these characters are really interesting and quite, I would say, more well-rounded. And again, I'm not just doing away with what happened in the first two seasons at all. It's a continuous storyline, but it will seem like kind of a fresh start of sorts. And I say of sorts because there's a notable exception, but I won't get too much into that. Somebody asked how long did it take to make some of the sets, for example, especially maybe the infected forest, the frightened forest. Usually I can crank out the sets pretty quick. I would say it takes me a solid day, like a Saturday, to make some of those sets. And I've got my Legos pretty well sorted. And I say pretty well because they're sorted by color, which sometimes is a pain in the butt, especially depending on what pieces you want. If you want some small pieces, it's not so great because you got to dig your fingers down to the bottom of this big bin. But it's something. Will the chief die? Will the general die? I think I will probably not answer those death questions because it's just the best way to find out is through watching the show. Razor Duck, thank you. I appreciate that. How much does an episode normally cost? That's an interesting question. I have a ton of Legos. The funny thing is that probably 95% of them were in my possession before, 2015. I got a lot of Legos as a kid. It was like my number one toy. And then eventually I stopped kind of buying them because Legos are super expensive and I'm not made of money. So every now and then I'll order custom pieces from bricklink.com or like Brick Arms or Brick Forge. And it is a little expensive. And I might have to get new lights. I got new lights recently. I don't know if I can answer that question in any kind of satisfying way though. But there are expenses, you want to, sometimes you got to buy like a green screen, or I buy tag boards. Clay isn't super cheap. For like a big brick of it costs, I think, like $13. So nothing too expensive, but the biggest expense is just the time you put into it, honestly. Do you use a phone to make video? No, I use a Canon Rebel T2i. That's the name of it. I'll type that in the chat. Canon Rebel T2i. And that is a type of DSLR camera. And it works wonders. It's a really old model, but it's just so effective. Takes crisp pictures. I highly recommend Canon Rebels. The Canon Rebel series for stop motion animation. All right. Will TLZA end in 2025? Again, I plan on building this universe for, indefinitely. So I think even after the next 4 seasons, I'll probably find ways to, I just have, such long-term projects planned that I don't know if an ending isn't even in my mind. How many entries have you gotten for the Stories of Survival? I've only seen one. I've had quite a few emailed to me or in the comments and various places. I would say there's probably 7 entries right now, at least 7, and I'm hoping to see more. We still got another half month or so. But I encourage you all to enter. There are some really good entries, but I just think it's a fun opportunity to kind of put the ball in your court, and you can expand the universe in some way. Just tell a story of somebody fighting to survive. It's pretty flexible, So please. And again, you can just build a diorama, do some fan art, and just give a story with it, and that would be cool. Spy Brick World wants to see Thanos versus Baby Yoda. I assume that's a Death Cube reference. That would be pretty hilarious. I mean, Thanos versus Shaggy at 2% power. Captain Kilroy says, will there ever be any super infected? I'm not entirely sure what you have in mind, but I would say yes. And that is one thing that I am super excited about in season 3. There's going to be some very disturbing, and I would say interesting versions of the fungus and the infected, including some very, very large ones. And you'll also see that in this episode, in episode 8 coming up, there's some really cool enemies that the gang fights, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. Rick and Morty keeps asking about the general. Will the general come back? Please answer this. I'm not gonna answer that. You will know who's alive or dead for sure by the end of episode 9, but I just don't want to spoil it for anybody who wants to find out the pure way. Will you do a collab with VPLO Studios? I did actually. I watched some of their videos, and they're very good. And I am interested in more collaborating with YouTubers, and I've been thinking about maybe in the season 3 it'd be really fun to reach out to other brick filmers and just get little guest appearances, whether it's voice acting or something else. But that would be very cool. Oh, Captain, I've never tried Plastic Army Men stop motion. There's so many things I want to try, both with Lego animation and with other things, but it's just all of my energy is going towards the Lego Zombie Apocalypse, and I would like to. I don't know. That's just what I've decided I'm gonna focus all my power on, and that's where I'm at. But maybe one day I will branch out. Hey Films, what's up? Hey Films. Somebody I've seen a lot on my Discord. I am good. Thank you for asking. Good to see ya. Oh, and Captain Kilroy says super infected. Infected with multiple infected pulled together. Example, the Rat King from The Last of Us Part 2. If you believe it, I actually have never... I don't know anything about The Last of Us. I really need to explore it. And same with like Left 4 Dead. There's so many good zombie stuff out there that I just haven't explored much. So, Marshy. Yeah. I'm seeing quite a few familiar faces from our Discord. Should have posted a link to the Discord in the description, but... it is in my community page somewhere. Might be in my About Me page as well. Star Wars versus Star Trek. You know what? To me, it's an apples versus oranges kind of thing. I love them both for very different reasons. But if I could only ever re-watch one or the other, maybe Star Wars. It's so fun. It's like fantasy in space. Star Trek is more like just classic sci-fi. Star Trek is really good. Sam, the Lego fan. Hi, I'm new in chat. Have you talked about your plans for the future, like season 3 and 4? And can the nickname for the crew could be Zega Squad? That's a pretty cool name, Zega. I like it. But yeah, there's gonna be basically infinite seasons, 100 seasons, for sure. As long as I'm alive, I will try to keep making seasons. Christian, I bought Exoforce sets to get Joe's face. Nice. That's right. He is from Exoforce. His face is. He's got those crazy anime eyes. Will Jenny and Gerald have a child? That's a question that actually will get answered in the 9th episode, so the one after this upcoming one. I sure hope they do, but can't reveal it quite yet. Do you like G.I. Joe or Transformers? I never got into G.I. Joe as a kid, actually, for some reason. Just didn't have that much exposure to it. Same with Transformers, but I loved when the movies came out with, Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf. I was just obsessed. I was like, this is probably the coolest movie I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen like Dark Side of the Moon or the later ones, but man, was I excited about the first ones. Are you thinking of doing a Siren Head series? Again, this goes back to what I was saying. I would love to do Siren Head, and I would love to do Among Us, and I would love to just hop on these trends and try to just I don't know, I guess ride their wave a little bit. But I'm hesitant to take any time or energy away from the Lego Zombie Apocalypse, and I'm trying to think of how, looking for partnerships with other YouTubers to try to diversify the content of my channel. And I actually have one, and if you're watching this, you know who you are, but you can expect I'm going to try to feature more types of content on my channel through collaboration. So I guess that's another little sneak peek for what to look forward to. Will the gang be forced to kill Kevin? That's an interesting question, which I'm not going to address. Will you ever have a main villain? That's another good question. The antagonist of the Lego Zombie Apocalypse is kind of nebulous. It's this fungus, this hive mind thing, and there's been the Exon, which was just this kind of weird in-between thing. And if you saw episode 7, you will have learned a little bit about the sorcerer. There is a sorcerer who is largely responsible for the chaos that's happening in the Middle Ages right now, but there's a little bit more to it than that. But yeah, I think the villain, like, will I ever have a main villain, like the main brain, the main big boss that is the fungus? And I think I will. And it's kind of hard to explain at this point because it's just, again, it's a very complicated villain to begin with, and the direction I'm going with the whole series is, it's tough to condense into, a soundbite, but I do plan on revealing much more truth about the fungus, what it is, where it came from, how it came to be, what it wants. Those things are going to be revealed kind of slowly throughout the unfolding of the universe. Stryker says, why did you start making videos? That goes way back. I didn't start with Lego animation. I started with, I think it was Nerf Wars, or just random videos I would make with friends with, like, if you remember flip cams, they were so cool. I think they were called flip cams, Flip Ultra, but you just it flipped open and a USB thing popped out. Got one of those as a kid and just started recording everything, and we would make these Nerf Wars and just silly stuff. And it was just, I was obsessed with it. And it's funny because I didn't consider film as a viable career in any sense, and now I'm like, man, what I want to do in the long term is editing, animating, storytelling. That's absolutely, and I want to try to make a career of it in some way. But as a kid, I didn't think that was viable. So I started just for fun, and then it was just for fun for a long time, and it's still for fun. But now I've obviously approached it with an intensity and a seriousness that I didn't have when I was younger. But just for fun, I guess, is my answer there. All right. Did you ever think you would make it this far? Again, from Sam the Lego fan. No, I didn't actually. Well, that's not a fair answer. It's changed because when I started, I was just going to make the one episode, which was the one where they Gerald, Joe, and Matt are living together in the apartment, and the zombies invade and they fight and all that good stuff. And that was going to be a one-off, just a fun little episode. But then I lost all the footage, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm never going to make that. And then in college, and some of you may know the story, I rediscovered it, got some friends to voice act for it, and we made it. And then I just decided, what if I just made a sequel? That'd be kind of fun, because we kind of ended on a cliffhanger. And then I just started making more and more episodes, and the first season just unfolded organically. And then I started the second season, but I had some real hiccups where I just was busy in life, and I was like, I don't have time for this, I can't afford to put that much time into this. But then something happened somewhere along the line where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this forever, and it's going to be my passion. And it just, it feels so good to have crossed that hump of doubt where you're like, it's not that hard to do it now because it's become an obsession, really. And I think If you can turn your passion into an obsession of sorts, that's good. And it's not easy to, well, maybe it is easy to figure out what your passion is, but I don't think it's easy for everyone. And maybe, I don't know if it's more of a decision or something you discover, but for me, it was definitely, I would say, both. Jack Bauer, yeah, what's up, man? You asked, would you want more fan art, and if so, what would the fan art preferably be of? I would love to see more fan art, and that's from anybody. But yeah, Jack's put out some really cool stuff. But Jack's done more of the characters, which is really cool. Something I would love to see is your takes on the fungus, and what kind of different crazy forms can it take. And I'd love to see art of people fighting it, and it could be main characters like Joe, Gerald. It could be them fighting it in the future or in the Middle Ages where they are currently. I think it would be so cool to see you guys do some of that. If any of you are talented drawers, and again, you can email that to me, or you could post it on your own thing and share a link. That's totally cool. I would love to see that stuff. One thing it would be so cool to see like anime versions of my characters. I know that sounds a little cheesy, but I love seeing. I recently watched a TikTok where they were showing these like this, if Star Wars was an anime. I just think stuff like that is just the coolest. If you're into anime, perhaps you agree. Will you have a Christmas special again? I really enjoyed the last one. Probably not. I do plan on, hopefully I can get episode 9 out before the new year, but I'm not sure if that's going to be possible. I'm certainly going to try. But maybe I can try to pull together some kind of Christmas special. One thing I want to do is post more. I had somebody recently asking if I was going to post my old videos, because I actually used to have a bunch of old ones that I took down. And that's stuff like Nerf Wars again, and there's one called The Winter I Did-a-Rod, where it's me and my cousins and siblings we made like a TV it's like a race where we're just racing on sleds, and it's very silly, but you can expect I might be uploading some old content just for nostalgia's sake, kind of a throwback kind of thing, so you might enjoy those. Can you put a link to the Discord in chat, please, or in the description? Well, actually, could I recruit? Oh, no, I don't think I could. I don't know if any of you who are in the Discord right now have access to the invite link. You might not. I might have to do that. But I will definitely do that in the description, either as soon as this video is done or maybe during it, if I get a little break. Rise asks, can you do a clay blood tutorial because you're great at it? Thank you. And I apologize because I've been asked that so many times, but I really just haven't done it. And I think I kind of take it for granted, the clay animation aspect of it and the blood, because I've been doing it the same way for so long. But if you're not familiar with ease in, ease out, that's something that I use all the time with the clay, and it's very simple. It's the animation concept that you move it like the movements start off really small and then get a little bit bigger and then a little bit bigger, and it makes it look more organic. So instead of things moving like robotic or like a laser pointer or something, it's got this organic kind of motion to it. And if I have like clay splatter somewhere, I have the clay kind of do that, and it's kind of, I would say, one of the most important principles of animation is knowing how to use that. But I will try to do a tutorial sometime soon on clay blood. What do you think about Lego Bionicle? Bionicle is the bomb. I loved Bionicle so much as a kid. I actually just watched, I can't remember his name, but there's a YouTuber who did Lego Rewind, he called it, and it's like an hour synopsis of the Bionicle line, and each different generation and what the story was about, and it's so cool. I think it's an awesome line, and I have a lot of Bionicle parts. So, good, fun question. Okay. Hey Films, so what's the next video about? Is it just going to be a side episode like the cookie one, or is it going to be just a normal video? Let's see. Sorry, I was just reading some other stuff. It is going to be a much more plot-driven episode because now finally the gang is all back together. You know, Gerald and Jenny had their kind of one-off, and then we had our reuniting episode. So now the plot is driving much more forward. And at the end of episode 7, you know, they're coming to the sorcerer's lair. And now they have made it. And the sorcerer obviously doesn't want to just give up. So they are going to have some severe obstacles to overcome. And that's what episode 8 is about. Let's see, where is Smite? I've had some people ask about Smite. Smite is around. I am not done with Smite, and I actually have some pretty big plans for them because you don't learn a lot about them in the first season, and you don't learn anything about them in the second season. But they are going to be a bigger player eventually, and again, it might kind of unfold slowly, painfully slowly even, but we'll get there. Sorry, Hey Film, sounds like your internet is not being so cooperative. Carter is asking, do you think Lego 4? He's asking me about Lego Pharaoh's Quest. I remember Pharaoh's Quest, and you've probably seen all the mummies I have, and those are pretty handy. I thought it was a super cool theme. Reminded me a little bit of, was it Johnny Thunder? I think that was one. Really fun theme. Internet is back. Good to have you, Hey Films. Who is your idol? It's a good question. I guess I have a few different idols for different reasons, but when it comes to film, I love Christopher Nolan. I think his movies are so good. And he's the one who did The Dark Knight, that's one of his big ones, and it's just such a good storyteller. And when it comes to YouTubers, again, I've mentioned this in the last one, but Keshin and Forest Fire were some of the big ones I was watching when I was younger, and again, they just blew my mind with how their animation and how funny they are. And at this point now, it's a weird place because they're fellow brick filmers, but they're also like competitors in a sense. I'm kind of competing on the YouTube animation market, but I don't mean that in any kind of serious way. And it's fun, and I want to grow my channel as much as I can, but I still check their stuff out sometimes because they are incredibly talented YouTubers. So those are, I guess, a couple idols, a couple people I admire in this sphere. Yeah, Spybrick says, it's quite funny how you have 80k subs and now there are only 40. I got 40 viewers. Yeah, I've wondered about that because I seem to have a pretty high number of subs, but they definitely don't all watch my stuff, and I think part of that is probably I've had them for a long time, and I don't know who gets like notifications when I publish, but I mean, it is what it is, and I'll just keep making videos regardless. But I'm very thankful you guys are all here, and of course people are going to view this video later. So, Rick and Morty, Christian, can you make a tutorial how to make the main characters, including Matt? So I think what you're asking me there is what sets did the pieces come from? Is that right? Which would be, honestly, even for me, that might be kind of tricky to figure that out because some of the pieces are rather obscure. But a lot of it comes from Star Wars, I imagine. What made you think to have Gerald and Jenny be a couple? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think, and again, this is in season 1 when I was like just making whatever kind of, the story was going wherever I thought of it in the moment almost. It was pretty ridiculous. But they just, it made sense that Gerald would be kind of this romantic type. He's just a kid, just an average dude, and Jenny is this like kind of badass babe, and of course he'd be interested in her, but she's quite out of his league, and in many ways they're not really so compatible, but I think it makes for an interesting dynamic because Gerald he's timid and he's afraid of so many things. So his big character flaw is that essentially, and he needs to overcome it. He needs to gain confidence in himself and learn to not be as afraid. And Jenny has none of those issues. She hardly struggles with fear, but she's kind of cold. She's not a very nice person in many ways. And so I think they kind of complement each other in that sense. What happened to Slade after what he did? Oh. I will say that's a great question, but I will also say I'm not telling. Star Clar says, what do you think about Lepin, and other copies? I'm not sure what that is. Bring the Death Wagon back. Now that was a fun build. Will there ever be a large-scale battle, like one army versus infected or another army? Fun question, and I think that's another one I can answer without any spoilers. Season 3, and again, I hesitate to call it a season, it's more of a movie. The opening scene is going to start with a large-scale battle against the fungus, and I'm actually so excited to make that because it's nothing you've seen before. And there's going to be this established warfare that's been going on for a long time, but you'll see, when the fungus is serious about taking over a planet, and the opponent, namely humans, is actually putting up a good fight, what strategies does it use? What does large-scale war with the fungus look like? Not just apocalypse, but war. And that is how season 3 is going to open, and it's going to be pretty dramatic, so that will be fun. Good site about buying Lego pieces, Bricklink, link as in chain link, bricklink.com is excellent if you need specific pieces. Brick Arms, of course, Brick Forge, they have wonderful custom, medieval stuff and modern weapons and all this really cool stuff you can't get anywhere else. So, and as I mentioned, in case you just showed up, I do have a link where you can get a discount in the description, or you can just use the coupon code Christian Stensley. Do you ever check out the band Skillet? Yeah, I was into Skillet when I was younger. Are they still making stuff? I don't know. I don't listen to that much rock these days. Or I do, but maybe just different types of rock. Have you ever watched South Park? And if you did, what are your thoughts on it? Yeah, I've watched South Park. I've never watched like season after season, but I've watched quite a few episodes, and I think it's just hilarious. It's funny because when I was younger, I was like, this looks so stupid, but watching it now, I'm like, okay, they are actually very clever. Would you ever make your own minifigure and then make a cameo in the series? That's a fun question from Christian, I'm going to butcher it, Villegas? I don't know. But that is actually a really funny idea. That would be cool to do. Also, I just realized I wore this shirt intentionally. I got some of my own merch, of course, and you can get some too if you want it on bomb.dizzyjam.com, and it's in the description. And there's a few different types of designs available, and there's sweaters and a mug and a hat and all this different stuff. So if you want to support me and you want some really comfy clothing, check it out. So that is my shameless plug. Do you got 40k minis? Oh, yeah, I do actually. So I don't know if any of you also sorry about my ridiculous hair right now. I haven't gotten a haircut. I thought I could pull off long hair, but it's getting out of hand and probably gonna get a haircut very soon here. But that's what we got. But yeah, 40 Warhammer 40,000. If you're not familiar with it, it's this really dark, like far future sci-fi storyline, and they have these little miniatures. It's like a game you can play, and you can paint the miniatures. Super cool, and I've got quite a few myself. And the third season is actually going to be heavily inspired by Warhammer 40k. So check it out if you haven't, because it is crazy cool, like hilariously dark. I mean, it is just a dark storyline, but really good. What's your favorite Netflix show? Right now I am binging Breaking Bad. Never watched it until now. It's so dang good. It's hard to watch sometimes, but he's kind of this Walter White is this fascinating character who like he starts with these really good intentions, but he just starts doing like more and more hardcore things to, sell his drugs. It's an interesting show. So that's been really good. Probably not my favorite on Netflix though. I'd have to think about that. I don't have anything off the top of my head. Walking Dead is good. Biden versus Trump. That would be quite the death cube. All right, Rick and Morty, I see your question. Will Gerald sacrifice his life for Jenny's? Again, probably not going to answer any life sacrificing questions here. Oh, Michael Bercier. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. Hair looks great, man. Get the flow back. Mike he is one of my most varied voice actors. He does, I don't even know how many characters, but he is Russ and Gerald and the Chief and the General. Mike, am I missing any? Probably. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. What are you planning to do as a 100k special? Yeah, you guys, that's actually pretty exciting. I'm just about to hit 90k subscribers. Maybe we can get 100k before 2021, which would be a heck of a thing. But as a 100k special, I don't know. But thank you for asking, because now you've put some ideas in my head. I need to figure that out. So is the fungus of brainless zombies that have little to no strategies, or are they a developed creature and race? Maybe it sounds like a cop-out if I say that it's mysterious, and understanding the fungus's motivations are, they change, and it's this weird. I imagine there's the science behind a hive mind is rather complex, but there is intelligence. I'll say that there's definitely intelligence and strategy involved in the hive mind and in the fungus. But I think, taking control of other organisms and plugging them into the hive mind, there is a bit of a transition stage where, the wiring has to be kind of put together. So sometimes they seem a little brainless because they haven't really been hooked up, if that makes sense. So you will have some brainless zombies, but with the more developed ones, they act with a higher intelligence. I'm from Germany and I love your videos. Thank you, ich bin der Mika. Sorry about that pronunciation. Are you going to make a video showing us where the secret characters sent by fans were? I don't know. They're in there, so a few people have pointed them out, and I think if you look through the comment section, you can usually find minute markers. But Hey Films, are you planning to do any other animation series? Not really. I really plan on just expanding this universe forever, or as long as I can at least. And that expansion can take many different forms, and I take a lot of inspiration from Stephen King in this sense, where, his books like It and the Dark Tower series, and even Cujo, they all they're all these different stories that don't really have anything to do with each other, but they take place in the same universe, and you sometimes hear about crossovers, and that's kind of what I want to do. Um, Although for now it's more plot driven. If you could make a Hollywood movie based around the Lego Zombie Apocalypse, would you? Absolutely. That would be pretty cool, but for now I just got myself. Do you think the next episodes in the next season are going to be longer and more plot packed? Yes. I think season 1 was just play, season 2 was learning, and season 3 is going to be much more of a polished just product. And from now on, they're going to be designed more to be movies than a series. Like season 2, it's very obvious that they're divided into episodes. In the future, it's not going to be quite so obvious. I might break it into parts, but it's going to be much more cohesive and fluent. So hopefully it is more plot packed. So, Starclar, you're asking me again about Lepin and other Lego knockoffs. Is that like Mega Bloks? Because I've never heard of Lepin, and if that is what you mean, like I have no real interest in them. I used Mega Bloks in season 1 because it fit as an alien race, but Lego does it for me. Where are you from? Well, if you must know, I am from North Dakota. I don't know, is anybody else in the chat from North Dakota? A state of like 10 people. I love it here though. It's a beautiful place. Flat. It is flat, but it's got a beauty to it, and it's not crowded. Thank you, Hey Films. And I think sticking with one series is kind of what makes my channel a little bit different. Instead of doing shorts, which those can be really good for getting viewers, I don't know. I like developing story and developing characters. It's just more meaningful for me, and I'm not trying to criticize anybody who does shorts. I think I used to do that, and I think that's a really great format for Lego animation, but I just wanted something different. Randoms. First episode is trash. Me as an intellectual. The legend before the legend. Thank you, Spybrick. That's funny. It's you got to start somewhere, right? Will you do a review about the top 5 contest videos? Definitely, yeah. Mike Bercier, he is from North Dakota as well. Will you do a review about the top 5 contest videos? Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a review. I'll say what I liked about them, why I picked it, and yeah, I guess that's it. And who made it, of course. Oh, you're from Oregon. Hey Films, beautiful place. I've actually been there. Very pretty part of the country. We got some rise from Canada. All right. Be kind of hard to visit there at this point in time, but what happened to the yellow alien leader? Yeah. You're probably not going to see too much of the Exen ever again. And they were an interesting, I think, development in the series, but I don't have very much interest personally in exploring this this almost secondary enemy. It's just and also I didn't like animating with Mega Bloks that much. It just gets a little bit, I don't know if messy is the right word, but it just didn't interest me that much, and I think it's much more compelling to just explore Krozok's I'm just going to call it slag because that's what it's referred to in the future. But yeah, you're not gonna learn too much more about the Exen. What are your thoughts on Man's zombie series? That's funny because I literally was watching those earlier. Let's see, I got my other YouTube page here. I don't think I watched him too much. He's got one video, Lego Zombie Episode 1, 12 million views. Good for you, Tricold Man. You tapped into something. But I think they're pretty good. I don't really know their story though, so I hesitate to make any kind of real commentary. But obviously he's doing something right. I recently watched Legoland. Perhaps you guys have watched their channel. They did one. They must have like a team of animators because I don't understand. They're able to crank out so much animation. But they did a zombie one where, oh no, it wasn't Legoland. It was Brick Rising, where it's like zombies are the humans and then humans are the zombies. It was really funny, but you've got like these zombies who are in a lab and they're working on stuff, and all of a sudden one of them turns into like a smiley face fig, and those are the zombies. It's like reversing the roles. I thought it was very clever. It's called Brick Rising Lego Zombie Apocalypse. So there's a lot of cool zombie channels out there. Corey Pine, I see he's pretty big too. And of course, can't forget Star Wars Studio. All right, I gotta get back to these questions. Were there some submissions that blew you away? Yeah, I would say yeah. There was one in particular that I just think they nailed it. And I'm obviously not going to go into it right now, but it's like, yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. So I'm excited to share that. Will any more characters die? Yes. Oh, Tricold Man's on your Discord, so that must feel good. Awesome. I forgot that. That does feel good. Will the Queen and Slade get together? Yeah, there's some chemistry there, isn't there? I don't know. Maybe they will. Where do you get your clay? I usually get it from just random craft stores. I've got it from Hobby Lobby. I've gotten it from, I think I ordered it online once, and it's plastilina. I think it's like non-drying modeling clay or something. Works super well, and I think I've shared the information for that in the contest rules. So again, yeah, go, you guys try for the contest. You could win a big poster and of course eternal glory. What do you think of Naruto? Believe it or not, as much as I like anime, I never got into Naruto. Somehow I missed Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. I love Full Metal Alchemist. I've only seen Brotherhood. My Hero Academia is quite good. There's another one. Why am I blanking on the name? Main character is Guts. Oh, Berserk. Insane. One of my favorites. Oh, extremely violent. Lepin is pretty much just Legos except they're rebranded and less quality. But they are way cheaper and more customized. Interesting. Rise, will there be more main characters come into the series? New ones? Yes. There's going to be like a whole line of new main characters. And I'm very excited about it. How can we join the Discord? You know what? I'm actually going to share the Discord invite link right now for anybody who wants to hop on over there. And if you're curious what we have there, we've got a memes page, gaming, general, fan art, content sharing section, self-promotion, my own creation section, stuff like that. All right. Where is the invite? I have so much to learn when it comes to server settings, members, invites. Alright, well, I'm not going to try to do this right now, sorry. But I'll post it in the description so that you guys can just come back to this video in like a couple minutes. Alright, we'll do a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up. So if you have any burning questions, now's the time to post them. Would you ever do a collab with Forest Fire? I kind of want to interview a few of those brick filmers, including Forest Fire. I did reach out to one and he said, no, I'm not interested in doing an interview, and I'm not going to share who it was, but he's a big one. And that kind of, I think, turned me off for the moment. But I would love to just do, like, you know, asking questions kind of like we're doing now. It's like, how did you get into this? You know, what gear do you use? Just stuff like that. I think it would be fun for a couple of brick filmers to chat like that. But we will see. Cut your hair, dude. Chill out, Matt. I'm going to cut it this weekend. It's just, it is what it is. Also, Yellow Ranger, that's the voice of Slade and of Corin, the wizard, and of Bert the weapon salesman, and probably a couple others that I can't think of at the moment. Do you watch or play Yu-Gi-Oh? I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. God, both the cards and the show. Still have the cards. What's your favorite color? Purple. Love purple. Were Gerald and Jenny possessed on episode 6? They were hypnotized, I would say, more than possessed. Gerald was possessed, I guess. Almost killed Jenny. Are you in a relationship or do you have a crush? I do actually have a girlfriend. She lives here with me. She's just in the other room, working on her homework. Mike RM Productions. I'm not sure who that is, but I will write that down and check him out. I want to join the contest, but I don't have a YouTube. When you post link, could I post it in there? You can send it to my email account, and I think you can find that, on my channel page. And I've also posted my email in my community page in the contest rules. Will Slade be back? Perhaps. What happened to the Queen's dad and brother? They got pretty much eaten by the fungus, and you see their corpses kind of in the woods. They got killed, so they are dead. Maybe start with little animators that are just doing it for fun. That's a good idea, Easterwood Production. I'm sure there are lots of people who would be interested in interviewing, and I'm down to interview anyone. Oh yeah, Matt, Yellow Ranger. I did voice that annoying captain at the beginning of season 2. Quentin, I think, was his name. Sir Quentin, just this bratty captain. I want to know more about Russ. You will learn in the future. Thank you, York. I appreciate that. Which faction do you play in 40K? I've actually never played the game. I'm kind of a... what do you call them? I'm super basic. I've got some Ultramarines, and then I've got some demons, and I think that's about it. I don't have a lot of pieces. I painted more of the original Warhammer ones, a whole faction of dwarves, it was like 12, 16 little dwarves, but Space Marines are just super cool. Alright, I'll play the teaser one more time. It's pretty short, so here it is. And maybe then I will answer one more question and we'll wrap up. So enjoy the teaser one more time.
It's like fighting the damn ocean!
last question. Oh wait, I gotta still going. Nope, we gotta stop. What does your girlfriend think of your career? Um, she's very supportive, and I'm so thankful for her. She lets me use this room as a animation studio, basically. So she doesn't think it's weird. She is quite grown to enjoy it. One more thing I'll show you guys. Hold on 1 second. I can't show you too much because it's, well, spoilers, I guess. But here is my, wait. Here is my current animation studio. I don't think you saw anything spoiler there. There's the big poster. It's just gigantic, as always. So this is my studio where I do both my animation, also where I'm an online teacher, for those of you who didn't know, so I do my teaching from here. But I don't think any of my students are in the chat right now, which is kind of funny. But how old are you? How old do you think I am? Post your guesses in the chat. Maybe some of you know. Why did you need to kill Matt? Sorry, it's Joe Gaming. Hey Films, I'm 24, 25 in March, in case you're curious. All right. 19. Not 19. Although I've been told younger. Especially when I get my hair cut for real, I'm gonna look like I'm 13. But it's what you got to do. A lot of you were close. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. That's correct. You know, people ask me like, why did you kill Matt, and they're very sad about it, and why did you kill Kevin and the general and this stuff, and that is a thing. You've got to raise the stakes one way or the other, and if you just kill people that people are okay with dying, the stakes are never properly raised. So that's that. All right. Well, how long have we been streaming now? I think it's been, I actually don't know. Been over an hour. What do you know? All right, everybody. That is, well, I can show you part of my Lego collection. I just saw that. Here is some, it's hard to use a laptop for this. Some of it, there we go. This is just kind of random stuff, but then I've got white bricks, my dark gray, blue gray, my light gray. I've got my browns and tans, my blues, my reds, yellows, greens, greebles. And then I've also got this box here. Oops. Almost closed my laptop. This box. And there's some stuff down there. And then I've got an entire gigantic bin of black pieces. I guess that must be the most common color or something. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to be done, you guys. I'm going to wrap this up now. But let me see if there's any more things that I wanted to say. I think that is it. So thank you all so much for coming. This is fun as always. I will post the Discord link in the description as soon as this is published, so come back for that. Nando, my birthday is March 24th, in case you're curious. Love you too, Yellow Ranger. I'll see you soon. Have a good day, everyone. I will try to keep you posted, post updates and teasers. And remember, November 30th, the premiere of the longest, most action-packed episode of probably the entire series. So, look forward to that. Adios.